Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a super fascinating journey behind the digital lens. We're going to unpack the intense, completely sensory-rich cinematic prompts used to visualize the dramatic rise of a literal legend, a 12th century king. We'll be looking directly at the source material, a highly detailed AI video prompt, to see exactly how a creator instructs artificial intelligence to build a living, breathing historical world entirely from scratch.
So let's dive right into this. Think about it. How do you visually capture the exact moment a boy inherits an entire empire? It's not just about plopping a crown on a head, right? It's about conveying the massive weight of that crown. We're going to look at how this source material acts as a total masterclass in AI cinematography, setting the stage for this epic transition of power in the ancient city of Ajmer.
Now, every great piece of cinematic art has to start by establishing the ground rules, the visual language. The overarching stylistic rules in this prompt demand absolute authenticity and immense scale. By explicitly asking for things like 4K UHD, Hollywood-quality visuals, and most importantly, an authentic 12th century India, the creator plunges us immediately into a meticulously crafted vision. Honestly, there is zero room for ambiguity here. The AI is literally commanded to be epic.
And scene one wastes absolutely no time. It opens with this majestic sunrise over the imposing Targar fort. This isn't just a pretty picture, though. It uses the auditory cue of echoing royal drums, combined with the visual of perfectly formed Rajput soldiers. Boom. It instantly establishes majesty, order, and the immense scale of the kingdom before the narrative even introduces a single character.
What's absolutely fascinating here is how the entire narrative loop is essentially framed by lighting. The prompt moves us from a hopeful, grand sunrise directly into the heavy, kind of claustrophobic shadows of grief in the morning, then pushes right into the vibrant, bright midday of the coronation, and finally culminates in a triumphant, reflective sunset. It's like the lighting itself is doing the heavy lifting to tell the story of this young king's emotional journey. And this setup brilliantly illustrates the sharp, emotional pivot of the story. The creator is basically forcing a massive contrast. On one side, we have the quiet, oil-lit morning of King Someshvara's passing, where the visuals are tight, dark, and filled with worry. Then, whiplash, we're thrown into the loud, bright, saffron-drenched celebration of the new king. This juxtaposition is exactly what makes the transition of power feel so incredibly dramatic. Let's look a little closer at how that grief is constructed. In scenes 2 and 3, the prompt deliberately strips away all that grand orchestral music we heard in the opening. Instead, it relies on deep silence, the slow ringing of temple bells, and the soft, fragile golden glow of small oil lamps. Even the mighty Rajput warriors lower their swords. It's not just a sad scene, it is an immersive, national grief that you can practically feel through the screen. But, as history dictates, a kingdom can't just hit pause and stay in mourning. The empire needs a leader. Scene 4 brings this sudden, totally necessary burst of vital energy as young Prince Prithviraj officially ascends the throne. The prompt expertly shifts the whole atmosphere from despair to immense hope and royal obligation. Notice how highly specific sensory details are engineered to visualize the sheer weight of this event. It's a complete sensory overload. It's the sound of priests chanting ancient Vedic mantras, the visual of sacred water being poured, the texture of flower petals, and the massive scale of royal elephants. The creator uses all these layers to make us realize that this boy is now the center of a very vast, very loud universe. Reality sets in pretty quickly, though. Because Prithviraj is still very young, a minor, he obviously can't govern alone. So scene 5 introduces a critical shift in power dynamics with a regent. This is a vital historical truth injected straight into the cinematic narrative, ensuring the story remains grounded in the actual political realities of the 12th century. And that regent is his mother, Queen Karpuradevi. The prompt visualizes her stepping right in to guide the administration of the kingdom alongside experienced ministers. We see her making the high-stakes decisions in the royal court. What's super compelling here is the direction given for the young king. He is carefully observing. He wears the crown, sure, but he's in this period of intense, quiet learning, while his mother holds the whole empire together. Then, we see this observation turn into intense preparation in Scene 6. The prompt outlines a rigorous four-step progression. Prithviraj is attending royal meetings, poring over kingdom maps, absorbing military strategy, and undergoing intense warrior training. The AI is literally instructed to show a boy actively forging himself into a weapon and a statesman. To make absolutely sure we feel this transformation, the creator makes a highly deliberate directorial choice. The prompt specifically calls for cinematic close-ups and slow-motion shots during this training sequence. By slowing down the footage and getting uncomfortably close, we are forced to look right into the young king's eyes. It visually hammers home his growing confidence, his grit, and his unbreakable determination. All of this preparation brings us to the climax of our story in Scene 7. We return to the grand, sweeping scale of the opening scene, but this time, instead of the dawn of a new day, everything is bathed in the dramatic, rich light of a sunset on the massive walls of Taragar Fort. The boy we saw crowned earlier is now standing with the true, undeniable posture of a king.
The prompt details this final shot beautifully. King Prithviraj is overlooking his vast kingdom, loyal Rajput warriors standing firmly behind him, saffron banners fluttering in the wind. The instruction for the camera is to slowly pull back, revealing the sheer scale of the empire he protects. This visual expansion mirrors the epic orchestral music, which is told to reach its absolute peak before fading to black. It's the ultimate cinematic mic drop.
Now, creating this masterpiece in an AI engine isn't just about telling the system what you want to see. Actually, to make this 12th century illusion work seamlessly and not break the viewer's immersion, the AI needs strict boundaries. And that brings us to a crucial element of the source material, the negative prompts. These boundary rules are absolutely essential. AI pulls from millions of data points, and let's be real, it can easily get confused. By explicitly forbidding anachronisms like modern buildings, electricity, mobile phones, and even stylistic errors like anime styles, the prompt builds a protective wall around the scene. You've got to build that fence so a stray plastic water bottle or a modern car doesn't ruin the whole historical vibe. When you really look at the architecture of a prompt like this, it begs a fascinating question. How do cinematic prompts change the way we experience history? By dictating lighting, ambient sound, and exact camera movements, this source material doesn't just recite a list of dry facts. It uses the full spectrum of cinematic language to force us to truly feel the heavy weight of leadership and the passage of power. It makes history visceral. What this explainer demonstrates is the incredible power of sequencing. Whether you're a hardcore history buff wanting to visualize the past or a digital creator pushing the boundaries of AI, the lesson is exactly the same. Understanding how to structure these visual boundaries, map out the light and shadow, and hit specific emotional beats is the ultimate key to epic storytelling. It's literal emotional engineering. We've seen him crowned, we've seen him train, and we've seen him step into his power on the walls of the fort. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to ponder. If you were the one writing the prompt for the very next chapter, how would you build it? What specific lighting, camera angles, and sensory details would you use to show Prithviraj facing his first true perilous test as a king?